Great.
Good, good. All right, well, let me give you a proper introduction. This is the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. I'm Michael Esposito, the host of the show and an insurance agent specializing in commercial insurance. This show has been brought to you by the Gardner Association of Businesses, which I spoke a lot about just while we were waiting here. But let me just share with you a little bit again. You can visit gabny.com to learn how you can get involved in the Gardner Positivity Movement, which my guests are a part of today. We shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us. Winston Churchill. How have you built or shaped your future? Please share your creation with us in the comments. My guests today believe that design can change the world and one's experience of it. Buildings should be built well, last for generations, contribute to their communities, and inspire. This comes right off of the Alan Ross Architecture website. So we have Alan Ross and John Vett from Alan Ross Architecture today. How are you guys?
Good, thanks. Doing well.
Good, good. So could you share with us your story and how you got started and how you've helped shape and impact the community you both work and live in?
Well, we both went to architecture school. That was the beginning. But after working in various areas for many years, I decided to start my own firm in the New Paltz area. And I continued to do work in Connecticut and lower New York, closer to the city, but really started to focus in on the opportunities up here.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned in the website there that really you really focus on the client and wanting to help people. So what made you choose architecture? Was it having to do with that you wanted to impact others?
There was a combination of wanting to, just the joy of making things, and having other people experience improvements in their life. You know, maybe sharing that joy when they live in and they participate in things that are well designed, thoughtfully designed. Architecture that is responsive to their sort of emotional and physical needs, and something that is, I would say, generous architecture.
Mm-hmm. And how about for you, John? You also are an architect. And by the way, I'm just going to let you know, John, Joe told me not to go easy on you.
I'm sure he did. Thanks, Joe.
So how'd you get your start?
Yeah, as Alan said, it started in school, and it was a kind of an amazing discovery process going through architecture school and really learning about it's such a vast field. And what's really, I think, interesting about it for me and so rewarding is that it has this great expansiveness to it, where you really deal with art and technology and science and history, and you have to change your hat all the time and do different types of work throughout your career and throughout different projects. So that kind of diversity and the sort of Renaissance man, sort of jack of all trades kind of aspect of it, I think is really a great part of it for me. And coming off what Alan's saying in terms of dealing with clients and bringing service to them, it's fantastic to help someone figure out what they want, especially dealing with residential, someone's private, personal home. There's different kind of projects and, larger, more commercial projects or projects that are, large buildings with lots of people in it. It's one kind of thing. When you're dealing with someone's home, it's a great relationship. You get very close to them. You learn so much about them. I mean, it's a very, very personal relationship in a lot of ways. And that can be very rewarding, and helping them figure out what they want and work through that and developing, like Alan said, a really great, rewarding place for them that they can enjoy, and really helps make them bring lots to their life.
Yeah, where environments do make a difference, and that's one of the reasons I think people are moving to Gardner now, are moving to the New Paltz areas. That it's a great environment. It's a beautiful environment, yeah. And so wherever you are, if you're in an environment that sustains you, that gives you, that nurtures your spirit, and and is functional and energy efficient and has good air quality and all those things, you're really going to have a better life.
Right, right, yeah. And speaking of the environment and living in Gardner and everything, this show is being put on today by the Gardner Positivity Movement, and you guys do a lot for the community. I want to get into a little bit of the positivity and what you guys see as maybe a positive outcome from maybe the quarantine or what we've been experiencing over this past couple of months, and maybe what you see as a positive outcome in your own personal lives, but also how do you see it as a positive outcome for the local Gardner community itself?
Well, as we sort of alluded to, when people have to quarantine, there's opportunities and then there's some hardships. And we've been quarantined together, so that's why we don't have masks. But my mom, for instance, is at a continuing care retirement community in New Paltz, a great place, Woodland Pond, and there's a lot more isolation there because of the quarantine. However, we've all discovered Zoom and a lot of virtual connections, and I had a reunion recently with my class from architecture school, and there were more people on it and more dialogue and more group connections than ever in any other time in the last 20 years. So there's some great stuff that's happening. People get to be with their families more and have more flexibility as to work, when they work, how they work. So there's been some great things about it.
Yeah, that's interesting how you said that there was actually more communication through the Zoom with some of the people that you've known for over 20 years. And how about for you, John? How do you see it impacting you in a positive way?
Well, as Alan said, being able to have time with my family. So my kids are school age. Alan's kids are out of school now and out of the house. My kids are in the house, and so to be able to be home with them, helping with when school was happening, or just keeping an eye on them, through summer activities and those things, it's been really, really great. So I'm home, working from home. I have my desk, my area set up. I can focus. My wife also works from home, so we're sort of we're each in our little office throughout the day, but we're there to be able to be, we can be with them and share some time with them, keep an eye on them, make sure they're eating healthy and not garbage and etc. So it's good to be able to be home with them. They're quarantined home or they're stuck home. It's good that we can be there. If we had to be in the office, it's very difficult. So there's some positive time and positive family time with that, which has been pretty nice. And as Alan said, the flexibility of the schedule, I think is good.
Yeah, we see that here at my home too. My wife and I are both obviously working from home, but come September, we're going to have, my wife's a teacher, so we don't know what it's going to look like. We have a child, one of my oldest daughters is going to be going to kindergarten, so we're like, what is September going to look like? Our whole worlds are going to be upside down. You and I, the three of us, we spoke yesterday a little bit about how this is actually affecting the Gardner community and the amount of calls that you've gotten from the Gardner, from the city about Gardner. Could you share with us a little bit about that and how it's obviously going to be impacting Gardner in a really positive way, especially economically?
Sure. We had a number of people call us about one thing that's interesting first-time homeowners. People calling from I'm moving from Brooklyn and I never owned a house or I've never lived in a house before. I don't know the first thing about construction or what to do and how do I avoid pitfalls and take advantage of opportunities. And, so there's been some sort of just interesting conversations with people who don't really have a clue, but trying to help them. And then there's,
whoops, sorry.
Then there's been people who are more familiar with how you go about buying a house or building a house or renovating a house, and that's been fun too. So we're working on renovations and also a new house in Gardner and as well as we talked about a new business.
Yeah, that's something cool. That's something cool. I'm sorry, John. Something cool that I saw on your website is that you don't just focus on contemporary design, which is where I think a lot of us think of an architecture as like, oh, I'm going to come up with this huge, beautiful design. But you also do a lot of the historic stuff as well. So that's obviously something that you can help with is both of those sides of the fence kind of thing. And how about for you, John? You were going to say?
Oh, I was going to say that we have also a repeat client, someone who we renovated a weekend home for them in Hudson Valley. They're city folks, and now they want to get out of the city, as many people are trying to do now. And so converting that into now a kind of a permanent house, really. So there's definitely some interest and effort and money flowing up from the city up into Gardner, Hudson Valley, which is great for us. And I think it's good for the community as well.
Yeah, definitely. And you were going to add to that, Alan?
Thanks. I was just going to say that, following up on what John said about architecture being an incredibly broad field, architectural design is also very broad. And what happens is people, as things go in and out of fashion, people tend to sort of focus in on one thing, whether it could be decon or way back when, postmodernism or contemporary stuff. And so, and then that becomes the only thing in some kind of bizarre way. Whereas we like to think that we speak many languages and are fluent in several languages. And so whether it's a colonial revival or 1950s modernism or a variety of other things, we can go in and serve the client and hit what is evocative for them or meaningful or appropriate for their circumstances.
And that's your big focus is the client. You say it, I see it over and over again in all of your marketing. When our conversations, that's really a big focus for you. And that's really important, I think, for people to understand too, is the client being so important to you, because you're not just trying to put your ideas there, you're trying to find out what do they want and what do they need. And I think that's really great. This is the Shining Light Video Podcast Show where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. I'm here with Alan Ross and John Vett of Alan Ross Architecture in New Paltz, New York. And they are part of the Gardner Association of Businesses Positivity Movement. What we're doing today is we're spotlighting them because of the work that they do in their community. And you guys are modest and you guys do a lot for the community, but part of this movement is to really shine a light on what you do and what you do for the community. So typically what I like to ask my guests on the show is any acts of kindness and generosity they're witnessing in their community. But something I would like to bring up is actually the acts of kindness and generosity that you're doing in our community and why we're doing this and how you're playing a part in this positivity movement. And so something that we've talked about is the pro bono work that you've done in New Paltz to help with the parks, and a lot of the volunteerism that you've done in the New Paltz and in the Gardner area. Could you share with us about maybe that project that you were working on, or also about some other things that you're working on currently in the Gardner and the New Paltz area?
Sure. So it was a great opportunity actually to work with a team of people for a park, a small urban park in New Paltz. The design was completed. It hasn't been executed. But basically, at the corner of Route 2, it's Main Street. Yeah, Main Street. It's corner of Main Street downtown. There's a parking lot there. It's where the post office is, that mall. And there was a grant from SUNY to do some study research on how to maybe make that better. And between our pro bono, the professors from SUNY Buffalo, one of whom I actually went to school with, which was pretty cool to work with.
Local business owners contributed.
Yeah, local business owners, including Bloom
Landscaping, Floyd
Elizabeth
Nissen,
Elkin, and Andy Willingham, and Floyd Niffen was helpful as well,
right,
in terms of developing the design and thinking about how it could be executed. Basically, the idea is to take the parking lot, reformulate it, not to lose any parking spots, but to then create that park that's there. You can see it on our website. We actually won an award for it, local chapter of the AIA, which was really fun and exciting. It's a great project, and the idea was that with a focus on doing things in a very thoughtful way to be able to improve this kind of junky condition and make it for everyone, and still not lose, you know, the really important parking in downtown New Paltz. So and design it in such a way that it could be built relatively inexpensively and be inexpensive to maintain, so a certain durability, and just it was like it's really a cornerstone of New Paltz. It would be very inviting. It would just be a much better situation. So really good for the town.
When we took it on, it was a kind of exciting project because it was so collaborative. And I think a lot of things that people do that are positive are collaborative. You know, you're trying to activate things, generate interest. You get a kind of critical mass going, and then that really has that effect. So yeah, it was really kind of amazing how people stepped up and helped out and contributed, and you know,
and then everyone was volunteering that really.
Yeah,
for that. It was pro bono across the board, so that it was just everyone thought that it was the design. I think was very successful, and really the vibe and the feeling for it. I think was just very positive.
And then you know, we helped out as really so many people did on building the playground at Hasbrook Park, and you know, you give a shout out to the key people who made that happen. It's just such a great thing for the community. The original the company that delivered all the product was actually the same company that built the original park structures, playground structures, you know, 20, 30 years ago, so a long time. And the son of the person who worked on that park was here, you know, in New Paltz working and helping organize things. But it was a huge community effort, and so it was just such a privilege to be part of it. You know, and there are financial donations and work donations, and it was just it was just a great thing. So that was good too.
And it really does impact our community. And I mean, that's really, when we talk about the Gardner Association of Businesses positivity movement, that's one of the reasons why we both communicated about this and getting you on here is that does a lot. And like you said, collaborating with the local communities that's huge. You're bringing in so many other people, and you're spreading that positivity. You're spreading that kind of like love for your community. Something else that you're a part of that does a lot of really great things for the community and does a lot of great things for, I think, our environment, is the Hudson Valley Passive Greenhouse Alliance. Could you share a little bit more about that organization and what it does?
Right, it's actually a Hudson Valley chapter of the Passive House Alliance. Yeah,
okay,
that's good. It's a long name anyway. Yeah, well, first of all, I've been a member for a few years, but there's been some, you know, people who really, you know, did the hard work of setting that up, and you know, kudos to them. The whole idea is that it's important to address global warming and through energy efficiency and through through making houses and buildings that do not use as much energy, particularly fossil fuels, don't pollute as much. Buildings are the largest energy use in the country. So, and they last for decades. So once you build one that's inefficient, you're going to have that long-lasting impact on the environment. It's a group that very generously shares information, has a great mission, and really couldn't say enough good things about the people who are key over there.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember, John, you were mentioning something about a house that you guys, or a project that you guys are working on that's a green type of house.
In Gardner, actually. Yeah,
yes.
we're working. Yeah.
Well, we have two, I think, important projects in Gardner that are really positive. One is new residents that will be, you know, passive house essentially, and we're building it. It's very low impact, beautiful views of the gunks, and but a house on a pretty good sized lot, so it's a small impact. It's very light in the ground. We're using putting it on pilotis, we call it, so it's on these little columns so that it's not kind of digging a hole in the ground. The whole concept is that it's very light and very kind of ephemeral and doesn't have a heavy impact sort of physically, but also in terms of the environment.
Right.
We're getting this very high efficiency European windows for it, which are actually more reasonably priced than you'd think. Surprising, it's very nice. And solar panels and super insulation, heat ventilator recovery systems. So high efficiency, very low energy use.
Yeah, and it's a great project. We're really lucky to be working on it. And then the other project that has it's not a energy efficient project per se, but it will have a big impact on the community. Is go ahead, John.
So the Gardner Market has been picked up by someone, and he's going to be putting a new business in there. We're helping him figure that out. So
great guy.
Alex Zydujewski. He actually was the guy who invented Terra chips, and also does Julian's Recipe, which is like a high-end waffles and other special foods, and Alexia Foods as well.
Long-term Gardner resident.
Yeah, he's a long-term Gardner resident, kind of a world traveler, and has successful businesses, and is now spearheading this new venture in that building. So we're helping him get that interior renovated, get it kind of fixed up a little bit, get him started. It'll be through multiple phases, but he's very excited. We're very excited.
Yeah, he uses the word making friends and serving the community. It seems to be serving the community, making friends. He's just a great guy and really committed to Gardner.
Yeah, they have some excellent chefs. Trained chefs are going to be there making some really great foods. So all things just getting off the ground. We're helping them figure it out, but very soon you'll see the doors open and they'll at least be serving some coffee. They've got a great new coffee machine. It's going to be fantastic. So quality coffee in Gardner. For starters, and moving on to some other really great stuff. So keep your eyes open. The name is a little bit too TBD at the moment what the name of the actual business will be, but coming soon. So we're all very excited about that.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. Yeah, somebody like that we should definitely have on the show. Alex, if you're watching, you should be on the show. But that's really great what you said there as friends in the community, because we really see that the more active you become in the community, the more friends you actually make in the community, and the more involved you become, and the more you love it, really. I mean, that's really how this show came about, was just being so active in the community. And my friends have become all of the business associations and chambers and everything that I'm a part of, and they're all a part of the community, and they're what make up everything that we enjoy. The storefronts, the restaurants, the different fun places, the parks that you're working on and building and creating. I mean, that's all part of the people that are in our community. So that's really wonderful. And thank you for sharing that project with us. We're going to talk about the community now. This is the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, where I shine a light on my guests and the positivity they're spreading in their communities. I'm here with Alan Ross and John Vett of Alan Ross Architecture, and we just spoke about what they're doing to impact their community in a positive way. They are part of the Gardner Association of Businesses Positivity Movement, and we just highlighted some of the work that they did to be able to help the Gardner and the New Paltz community. You can find out so much more about them and what they can do to help you and build a future for yourself and your family in our local area. Just go visit their website at Alan Ross Architecture. I'm not sure if it's alanross.architecture.com, but you could put that in the comments here. What I would like to talk about now is a place that you miss right now because we've been quarantined. We haven't been able to get out and about, and both of you had some pretty cool places that you miss. I would love for you to just share what you miss and why you miss it.
Well, we were just mentioning the Tuttletown Spirits place, which is just, they produce a great product, and it's a great place to visit. So that's certainly one place. Actually, I was going to say Mohawk Preserve, which recently reopened, but they were closed. They're just, such an outstanding organization. So, it's one of my favorite places to go, and a big part of this area.
You also had mentioned something pretty cool about the Tuttletown Spirits place, the mill there. Could you just share a little bit about that? Because I feel like your architectural background kind of came into play with why you like it and miss it so much.
Grist Mill it's a historic mill, and they, it's hundreds of years old, and so they still have some of the machinery there, which ground the flour and serve the community, and it's a really sizable building. You really feel the strength of what was going on there, and the original designers of those spaces. They built a dam upstream, upriver, and then they have a sluice way that goes, hundreds of yards to get a drop, to power the equipment, and you can still look at where that comes in, and it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, very cool. Cool. And for you, John?
Well, it's maybe not so much a COVID thing as I do miss the Gardner market being open. The fact that it's sort of, we're lucky that we're involved with it, but even if we had nothing to do with it, just seeing that kind of empty building coming back to life and having some really quality stuff happening there, it's an exciting reason to visit Gardner and get some great food and sort of hang out. We're trying to find a way to have some outdoor seating and maybe some indoor seating, we'll see how that plays out. But I think for me, that's really exciting to kind of help reactivate that kind of downtown core. And it's what I look forward to. Yeah,
that's really cool, because I always look at Gardner, and Gardner has like a 1 mile or a 2 mile stretch on Main Street, which has the businesses and the restaurants there. And it's almost like you could just pretty much just pick a random place and they're all going to be awesome. You have such great places, the Mercantile, Cafe Mio, and of course, the Village Market. And there's so many really great places there that it's amazing. It really is. And there's, Yard Owl is not too far off of Main Street. So just a really, really great community there. And they put out just so much really great things. I'm so happy to have you guys on the show, and I'm so happy that you're part of the Gardner's positivity movement. Before we wrap up the show, I would love to get your final thoughts on Gardner, on anything that you would like to share, your final thoughts before we wrap up the show today.
I'm always astonished with Gardner about how many substantial, kind of really cool businesses there are there. There's David Kucera, who does architectural concrete. He's done some of the most amazing buildings in the Northeast, and he's also a sculptor. And you've got KC Fabrications, who, if you look at their website, it's just unbelievable what they do. You had the founding of Utility Canvas with Jillian Kaufman and Hal Grano, who are friends, but also just amazing product that's marketed throughout the United States and Japan. And, just
Kiss My Face.
Kiss My Face. I mean, Julian's with Alex, it's just, it's kind of an astonishing little area.
Yeah. Sort of that downtown core, and here's this little town, kind of, this little rural town, and it has great places in it, and it has all these really great businesses that come out of that. So there's clearly a strong, creative.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, is that there's this kind of creative core and really, interesting, intelligent people that have gravitated to the area. Just as they have in New Paltz.
Yeah, I think the thing for me too is that I grew up in New Paltz, and I live in Gardner now. I live in Highland now, but I work in New Paltz, and I grew up in New Paltz. And I've lived in Gardner. I lived over there years ago for a while. My girlfriend was there. I was there all the time back in high school. So I'm definitely a Gardner person too. And to me, I feel like New Paltz and Gardner are just sister cities or sister towns.
Yeah.
They're really, it's kind of mixed community. There's definitely, of course, but there's definitely a lot of cross-fertilization and sort of, I don't know, I consider them, two of a kind. So that's always been good for me too, I think.
Yeah, there's a synergy there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the top of the show, we talked about people moving up from the city. So I just want to share with you, I see one of our viewers right now is a real estate agent down in New York City. So Sylvia, pay attention. Gardner, that's where you want to bring your clients to check out, and get in touch with these guys over here at Alan Ross Architecture, and they'll be able to help your clients in the city build their dream home up here in the Gardner or New Paltz area. Guys, thanks so much for sharing all of that. You really are doing a lot of really great in the community, and are really helping really boost the economy when you think about it, about building in the local area and helping people come from the city, come from different areas, and build their dream home here is only going to help the community. And then, of course, working on this project with Alex, on the Village Market. I can't wait to see what that's going to look like. I'm going to have to take a drive down Main Street to check it all out. I want to thank you so much for being on the show. Before I wrap up the show, I do want to just give a little shout out to our New Paltz Regional Chamber of Commerce. I know that this show is brought to you by Gab, but Gab and the New Paltz Chamber do team up a lot, just as you just said there, John. And we do have the Taste of New Paltz coming up in September. It's our 30th annual Taste of New Paltz. We're very, very excited about it. It's going to be a lot different because of COVID, but we're going to be launching this, something called a passport, where we're looking for businesses, any businesses that want to be involved in this, to offer a discount and in this passport, and people that are going to be part of the Taste of New Paltz, that are going to be part of the New Paltz area, are going to be able to purchase this passport for a large amount of discounts in the passport. So just want to share that with everybody. If you're interested in getting into the passport or buying a passport, just DM me and I'll be able to help you with that. So just a little plug for the New Paltz Chamber. Got to put it out there for them. This has been the Shining Light Video Podcast Show. My guests today are Alan Ross and John Vett of Alan Ross Architecture in New Paltz, New York. Please visit them. Please DM them. They'll put all of their information in the comments. They're a great team of people over there. You have Carol over there as well, and plenty others that are helping out and part of your resource team there. And they're just doing so much for the gardener community, and we're just so pleased to have you on. This show has been brought to you by the Gardener Association of Businesses. Visit gabny.com to learn how you can get involved in this group of really great professionals. Gab offers networking opportunities, marketing opportunities, and a chance to be featured in the Gardener Positivity movement. As part of the movement, Gab will feature your business in a blog post, and of course, you'll be featured on my show, the Shining Light Video Podcast Show, to share the positive actions you're taking to help your community. I would also like to thank our other show sponsors, the Mindful Living Coaching Program. You can learn more about the program by messaging Coach Matt Alfonso on Instagram at Matt Alfonso and the number 1. That's Matt Alfonso 1. And also I want to thank HB Gold Rewards, the largest the largest business networking Facebook group in the Hudson Valley, helping you shop local at a discount. HB Gold Rewards and Ramon Pinheiro put on a really great Facebook group to help local businesses promote their businesses. And you can visit hbgoldrewards.com to buy your $10 discount card, enter promo code FCH, and HB Gold Rewards will donate $8 towards Forgotten Children of Haiti's fundraisers. This show with Alan Ross and John Vett will replay on my Facebook page today at 6 o'clock, so you can watch it there live. That's Michael Esposito, USI, at 6 o'clock. As always, everyone, this has been the Shining Light Video Podcast Show. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank you both for being such great guests and for doing so much great in the community. And as always, please stay happy and stay healthy, everyone. I'll see you all. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Have a great day.
You too.